The average American adult spends a large percentage of their life in the workplace. In order to be productive and to do the best job they can do, you must have a working environment free from discrimination. Discrimination of any type has no place in any organization, and sexual harassment is perhaps the most destructive form of discrimination. Not dealing with sexual harassment can undermine the success and morale of any organization. We all want an environment where everyone is able to do their best and work together effectively as a team. To accomplish this goal, we all need to be aware that sexual harassment exists, and it must not be tolerated on any level. As a manager or supervisor, you can help stop sexual harassment before it gets started. An employee's best defense against sexual harassment may be as simple as using the word no. Confronting the individual when behavior bothers you may not be easy, but it can work. If an employee can't stop the harassment by saying no, or if the employee is uncomfortable doing so, he or she may come to you with a complaint. In this video, you'll learn what to do in these situations. Failure to respond to a complaint can result in your company being liable for monetary damages if an employee has to seek intervention from a governmental agency or file a lawsuit. You may be personally liable if someone comes to you with a complaint and no action is taken. By being prepared and knowledgeable, you can take appropriate action to investigate and resolve claims of sexual harassment. Early resolution of sexual harassment claims prevents costly administrative or legal action. What can you do as a supervisor to prevent sexual harassment in your workplace? The first step is to be aware of your work area. Correct any conduct that could potentially be construed as sexual harassment immediately before it becomes a problem. Remove any objectionable materials in the workplace. Be a positive role model for your employees. Your actions and attitude can be an important part of preventing harassment. It's vital that you're familiar with your company's sexual harassment policies and complaint and investigation procedures. If you receive a sexual harassment complaint, you will need to know to whom the complaint should be reported. If not to you, then you must know how your company's complaint process works, who conducts the investigations, and who to contact if the employee needs additional assistance, such as counseling. If you received a complaint of sexual harassment, what would you do?
Yeah, Saturday afternoon's great. We could probably be over there about 2 o'clock or so. Hey, yeah, hang on a sec.
Mr. Adams, I need to speak to you about something.
Well, I'm kind of busy. How about, can it wait till tomorrow afternoon?
Well, it's kind of important.
All right, I can probably talk to you for a few minutes after I get back from lunch, about 12:30 or so. Is that all right?
Fine.
Okay, we'll see you about 12:30.
Okay.
All right, man. Like what I was saying about on Saturday. All right. Look, I gotta go, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks for the business. Okay. So what can I do for you today, Mary?
It's Maria, Mr. Adams.
Right. Yes? Okay, look, I'm right in the middle of something. Can you have him call back in about 5 minutes? Okay, thanks. So what were you saying?
Well, it's an employee here. He's begging me, and I don't know what to call it, but I think it might be sexual harassment.
Well, who is it?
It's Doug in shipping. He's constant.
Doug in shipping? Really?
Yeah.
No, come on. Doug's been here for 20 years. He's never done anything like that. We go fishing together. He's harmless. And even if he did anything, I'm sure he didn't mean anything by it.
Doug may indeed be harmless, but sexual harassment is sexual harassment, and it's against the law. What would you have done if Maria had come to you? Let's look at the proper way to handle this situation.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, Mr. Adams. Can I speak to you for a few moments?
Yeah, sure. You seem kind of upset. Do you want to talk about this right now?
Yes.
Okay, just have a seat. Tina, could you hold on my calls for about the next half an hour? Okay, thank you. What's wrong?
It's Doug in shipping. He stops by my desk continually, makes comments about my hair, my clothes, my perfume, and I don't like it. Last week, he even came by my desk and touched my hair, got really close to my ear, smelling my perfume or something. Yesterday, he actually stopped by and kissed me. And you know what? I've had it.
Okay, well, we do have a specific procedure for reporting sexual harassment complaints, and it sounds like you've got a complaint. And either I could handle the complaint for you, or we could have Mrs. John in Human Resources handle it for you. Which would you prefer?
I guess I would be more comfortable talking to her about it. I just wasn't sure who to go to.
I understand. I want you to know whoever you talk to will take your complaint seriously. Your complaint will be investigated, and appropriate action will be taken if warranted. And I also want you to know our company has a strict policy against sexual harassment, and this kind of behavior won't be tolerated. So let me get Mrs. Johns on the phone right now, and you can talk to her right away.
Thank you. Hi, Mrs. John.
Hi, Maria. Come and have a seat.
Thank you.
Mr. Adams tells me that you want to discuss sexual harassment. I want you to know that this company takes any claims of sexual harassment very seriously, and we will conduct an investigation and take appropriate action if necessary. Do you feel that I can conduct this investigation fairly?
Yes, I hope you can.
Okay then. Let's start by you telling me exactly what happened. I'll make some notes, and then I'll have some questions for you about what you told me. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
It started about 3 months ago when I moved into my new department. My office is now by shipping, and Doug started coming up to me, talking to me, making rude jokes about my hair, about how I smelled. And then he would start coming up behind me and put his arm around me, smelling my hair, smelling my perfume. And yesterday he actually tried to kiss me.
Okay. I think I understand the nature of Doug's behavior. Do you have any suggestions about how you would like to have it resolved?
I don't know. I really don't want to cause any trouble with anyone, but I really do want it to stop. And I know Doug is not my boss, but honestly, I am afraid to talk to him. I'm just not comfortable around him.
I can't tell you what action, if any, will be taken after the investigation. And I can't make a decision until I've talked to Doug and to anyone else who might have any information or knowledge about the incidents.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone else witnessed Doug's behavior?
Of course, the entire department knows. They even tease me about it.
Okay, Maria, thank you for coming to me with this problem. I will be sending you a letter confirming everything that you've told me today and the issues that you've brought to me about Doug's behavior, and also the witnesses that you've mentioned. Now, our conversation today is to remain confidential, and I don't want you to discuss it with anyone else in the company. If you can think of anything else that I need to know, please tell me right away. And now I'm going to take some time to talk to Doug and the witnesses if necessary, and I can get back to you, say, about next Thursday. Would that be all right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Maria, thanks again for calling this to my attention. I also need to tell you that no retaliation will be made against you for reporting this to me. And if you should experience any problems, please come to me right away.
This time the supervisor knew what to do to properly handle the complaint of sexual harassment. He listened, didn't make excuses for good old Doug, and immediately contacted someone with whom Maria would feel comfortable reporting the complaint details. Mrs. Johns reassured Maria that her claims would be taken seriously and investigated. She let Maria tell her story, took notes, asked follow-up questions, and stated that no retaliation would be taken against Maria for reporting the sexual harassment. Mrs. Johns will now write and send the confirmation letter to Maria. Next, Mrs. Johns must decide whether a formal investigation is necessary or if a simple resolution is possible. For example, if the complaint had been about sexually explicit posters or calendars in the work area, the investigator would only need to confirm that the posters were visible. She could then talk to the people involved and remind them that such materials are inappropriate and against company policy. No investigation would be required, although Mrs. Johns would follow up to be sure that the posters were removed. When another employee's alleged ongoing conduct is at issue, the investigator will review the personnel files of the involved parties. The confidential files can be checked to determine if there have been other claims of sexual harassment against the alleged harasser. The investigator will not divulge any information about the claim or investigation unless it is necessary to further the investigation or to resolve the claim. The investigator must determine who to interview next. In most cases, the alleged harasser is who you will want to talk to. In this case, Doug. If the harasser admits to the conduct, the investigator can take appropriate action and the investigation is complete. If the harasser denies the allegations, then the investigation will continue. A good investigator recognizes that the interview may be as stressful for Doug as it was for Maria, and will be prepared for questions that Doug may have.
Hi, Doug.
Hi.
I asked you to come in here today because I'm investigating a claim of sexual harassment against you. And I can see you're upset. Most people would be under the circumstances. So we need to talk about it and see if we can get it cleared up. Now, you know that this company takes charges of sexual harassment very seriously. And based on the investigation, a decision is made as to whether or not harassment has occurred. And if it has, we take appropriate action. Everything that's said in the investigation is kept strictly confidential. And you know that we don't allow any retaliation against anyone who's made a claim or against any of the witnesses that we may interview.
I'm very familiar with our sexual harassment policy, and I can assure you I've never harassed anyone.
Does that mean that you've never touched or kissed any of the female employees in any department?
Of course not. That's not right. I just went and do it.
Well, have you ever touched or kissed Maria in the purchasing department?
Maria? Why would she say anything like that? What did she tell you?
At this point, Doug has denied the accusations and wants to know what Maria has said. Mrs. John's response is to probe any ill motives on the part of Maria.
So what you're saying is that nothing that has happened between you and Maria could be construed as sexual harassment.
I don't know. We don't even work in the same department.
So have you had any conflicts or problems with Maria?
She's only worked in that department for a couple of months. I don't know what this is all about.
The investigator will close with a reminder about confidentiality and no retaliation. Doug's interview will be documented with a confirmation memo, much like the one she prepared after speaking with Maria. Because Doug denied the charges, Mrs. Johns cannot resolve this claim without an investigation. A list of witnesses and observers should be compiled, and anyone suggested by Doug and Maria should be talked to if necessary. The investigator must evaluate what each witness has to say and determine the person's credibility. Some of the factors used to determine credibility are the demeanor of the witness, the logic and consistency of the stories and facts as given by all witnesses, any corroborating evidence offered by any witness, any circumstantial evidence. This would include evidence like notes, a diary, or calendar notations made by any of the witnesses. After the interviews are completed, the investigator will examine the objective facts in order to reach a conclusion. These facts include whether the complaint was raised in a timely manner, whether similar complaints have been raised previously, the motivation for the complainant to fabricate the story, the motivation for the alleged harasser to deny the incidents, whether anything of substance claimed by the complainant or the alleged harasser was proven to be untrue. The next step will be for the investigator to make a recommendation as to the appropriate action to be taken. She must consider, did sexual harassment occur, the severity of the conduct, what action the company has taken in the past, whether any sexual harassment policies were violated, and if specific action or discipline is now required by company policy, state or federal law. If the investigator determines that Doug did sexually harass Maria and that disciplinary action is warranted, the investigator will be responsible for meeting with Doug to explain that a conclusion has been reached, how it was reached, the conclusion, the action, if any, to be taken, and who to contact if either party has any further questions or concerns. The investigator will also meet with and inform the complainant that the investigation has been concluded, what the conclusion was, why, and the effect of the action. For reasons of confidentiality, the investigator may not reveal the disciplinary action taken against the harasser, but will tell the complainant that the appropriate action has been taken. The investigator will again caution about confidentiality and reaffirm the company's non-retaliation policy and follow-up as needed. The investigator will complete the documentation of the entire investigation, including a memo to the harasser about the results of the investigation. Had the complainant not been assured of fair and impartial investigation and an internal complaint system that works, she might have taken her claim elsewhere, much to her employer's detriment. This investigator conducted an impartial, good faith investigation, reached a reasonable conclusion, saved her employer from potential financial liability, and took reasonable steps to prevent further sexual harassment. So can you. Hopefully, your company will stop sexual harassment before it starts, and you won't have to conduct an investigation. But if a problem does occur, you must take appropriate action. These actions include interviewing those involved in the incident and possible witnesses. Remember, retaliation for reporting a claim of sexual harassment is against the law, and the information gathered in the investigation process must remain confidential. You can help prevent sexual harassment from becoming a problem in your workplace by establishing preventative measures and ensuring that everyone in your workplace is knowledgeable of company policy regarding sexual harassment. You must understand your role in sexual harassment claims and take appropriate action that helps resolve the situation in a timely, effective manner. Remember, failure to act or acting inappropriately can put you and your company at risk. Don't take a chance.